This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome to a slightly different type of rambling from me. This is a gaming channel after all, and it will always be and predominantly a gaming channel, but I think from a geek perspective, there are certain films that I may want to just share my opinion about, and I thought you guys might be interested in hearing it. I did finally get around to buying Star Wars The Force Awakens. I saw it at the pictures, I saw it on opening night at 10 p.m. because I was so determined not to have children running around. Because these aren't for children, these films are for adults. Adults. Well, you know, big grumpy old adult that I am. I took my son with me, but he's all grown up now. I just wanted to see it and be able to fully concentrate on it without children running around. I don't have any problem with children. I love kids, and I have one of my own. So yeah, it was just one of those. I think for an experience, as an example, I went with my dad once to see Pirates of the Caribbean, and which one was it? It wasn't the latest one. It was the last of the trilogy one, and it was absolute pandemonium. It was just. It must have been 50% children in this place, and for the first time in about 50 years that I'm aware of, they decided to have an intermission right in the middle of the the film. So the children finally settled, and then halfway through the film, all the lights came on, and they had an intermission, and it was chaos. And then they never settled after that. So it was like, oh, I'm never going to the pictures to see a family film during the day ever again. So yeah, I think I've done that part of adulthood. I'm glad my son's like 24 and I can take him to the pictures as an adult now. But anyway, I digress. I'm not talking about what I should be talking about. So I did see it at the pictures on opening night, and I walked out and I absolutely loved it, and I would have turned around and walked straight back in and watched it again had I could have done at the time. But it was like 1 a.m. by that point, so I thought maybe not. But it was absolutely fantastic. I did come out and if I had to score this film, I'll do this straight off the bat, I would have given it an 8 out of 10. Okay, I think it was absolutely the film that it needed to be to appease the majority of the fans. But you're never, ever, ever going to please everybody when it comes to things like Star Wars, when it comes to things like James Bond, when it comes to anything that's kind of soaked in history, and every fan is never going to be happy. Never. And it was that case when Lucas did the first 3. It was that case a lot more when he did the second 3, set before the first 3. I personally, I don't think they deserve the hate that they get, but I do agree that they were particularly poor in comparison. But I don't think that they deserve that sort of hate. I still think they had something to offer. I still think that children got a lot out of those films. I remember my son when he hates them now, but I remember when he was little, he absolutely adored those films. So I think from a George Lucas perspective, I think he felt like he was making films for the children of that generation. And I think to some extent he did that. But I still watch those films and think, what the hell is going on? Other than Darth Vader becoming Darth Vader, I've got no bloody idea what's going on half the time in those films. Anyway, stop making me digress. Stop it. It's your fault. Right, so when it came to this one, I think it was absolutely what it had to be, and they've basically made the first one again. Everybody knows that. It's the same concept, same kind of story, same kind of thing going on. But there was a lot of things that I loved about it. I mean, there was more that I loved about it than the bits that niggled at me. I mean, there was only a few. I loved pretty much everything about it. I thought the humour was bang on. I thought the main characters actually... I mean, I was actually going to see this film and I was thinking, oh, it's all... You know, I'm going to see Han again. I'm going to see Leia again. I'm going to see Luke again. I'm going to see Chewie again. I'm going to see R2-D2. I'm going to see C-3PO. I'm going to see everybody from the originals. It's going to be awesome. And it was. And it was great to see them. But in all due respect to the main cast of the new crew that are now running this film, I thought both Daisy Ridley and Finn, because I've forgotten his real name, were absolutely fantastic at their parts. Absolutely brilliant. And I thought they were holding the screen and playing the story out. I was having so much fun before we even got to, and even Poe as well, right at the beginning. I was having so much fun with those guys. I could easily have watched that film without having to go to the old characters. I could have done. With the exception of, can I just say at this point, if you haven't seen Star Wars The Force Awakens, please go away. All right? Because I am going to talk about spoilers. Go away. I don't want any hate. If you haven't seen it by now, you're in bloody fault anyway. It's been out for ages. But anyway, yes, if you haven't seen it, please turn off and go away, because I will be talking about the film and all of its contents. I will not be holding back, so I will be telling you what happened. Yeah, so I thought they were holding the screen brilliantly on their own. It was great to see the old characters back, with the exception of, obviously, we only see Luke at the end. And I thought that scene was one of the most powerful scenes in the whole film. I loved that scene. I loved the fact that it ended on that scene, because when she got into the cockpit of the Falcon with Chewie, I thought that was the last we were going to see. I thought we were going to see them shoot off and it was going to go to the end, a bit like Empire Strikes Back did. But no, we got the whole no words whatsoever between her and Luke, and her holding out that lightsaber was brilliant. Loved it. Brilliant. Loved that scene. Probably the best scene in the whole film. Nah, maybe going a bit too fast here. It was one of them though. I mean, I loved the little weird woman creature that owned the bar and all that. She was fantastic. I loved Han and Chewie again. The bounce between Han and Finn was absolutely fantastic. Finn and Poe was absolutely fantastic. Rey on her own was fantastic, but then even with Finn was brilliant. I loved. I think I loved the purity I love the purity of Rey, because I think it really, really helped that we'd not seen her in anything else. There was my mind was going nowhere, but that's Rey, and she's like, awesome. And I wasn't thinking, trying to get over her being something else. She was absolutely brilliant. And so for me, actually, it was the same with Finn, because I know he's been in other stuff, but I haven't seen it. So the two of them are absolutely fantastic, and the guy who plays Poe as well. I absolutely loved those three people. They're absolutely brilliant. BB-8 was... I if there was ever going to be a problem, it was going to be replacing R2-D2, because so iconic. C-3PO is kind of different, because I don't think that they haven't even tried to replace him. So it'll be interesting to see how those two fit into the other stories. But I don't think they'll be too heavy on R2-D2. My personal opinion, because they want to focus on BB-8. He's the new little droid, and I think they could not have done a new droid more perfectly than that. They gave it character, they gave it emotion, like Lucas did with R2-D2. You immediately loved it, and it's just two little balls rolling around. But the way they did it just makes you fall in love with it straight away. I haven't heard one person say they didn't love BB-8. The little thumbs up that he gave Finn when he asked him to tell her where the base was, and all that sort of stuff was priceless. So yeah, mega thumbs up for BB-8. Absolutely brilliant. I've started buying sort of collectibles. The die-cast. I've got the die-cast Stormtrooper and the die-cast Flame Trooper, and I've got the little, I think they're die-cast as well. I've got little ships. I've got three of them. I think I've got Kylo Ren's ship and not Millennium Falcon. I can't remember what they are now. I haven't taken them out of the pack. I'm going to buy a cabinet to put all of my Star Warsy bits in, with some other few bits that I've got, sort of geeky bits, but I haven't bought it yet for the flat. But so they're all in a cupboard, still in their boxes, in pristine condition. A little bit of Scottish there for you. So yes, what else? Seeing the Millennium Falcon again was just... When they were running through the sand, Finn and Rey, and they're like trying to, everything's exploding, and they're like, let's get out of here, we're going to get a ship. And she's like, we're heading for that. He goes, get that ship. No, that's a pile of junk. And yeah, I kind of knew when they said that's a pile of junk and the thing blew up, I immediately in my head, the Millennium Falcon just a split second before they panned round, I thought, and I got immediately, I don't even think it registered properly, but my heart kind of went, the Falcon! But that was brilliant with the cover that was on it when it tried to take off. The cover was flying off it, and she was bouncing off the floor as she was trying to get it to fly, and it really does, like, when they get inside the Millennium Falcon, it looks like a pile of junk. I mean, it looks old and it looks tatty and it looks, but it's such a beautiful ship to watch fly. It is just incredible. It was so good seeing that again, and I think she looked great flying it. Finn looked great in there as a kick-ass partner. And when Han and Chewie pitched up, it just kind of brought the whole thing back together again. But that was kind of more of a Millennium Falcon thing than I thought was actually needed for the entire film. So yeah, it was that was fantastic. I thought that the when I went into this film, because when they showed the trailers with Finn holding the lightsaber constantly, and I kind of twigged, and I thought, I really, really, really hope that she's the Jedi. Because I feel like the guy Jedi thing's been done now, but overly done. I mean, it's just been done. I know there was girl Jedis and women Jedis in the sort of the prequels, and I know that Leia obviously had the ability, as we find out later, or Jedi, I think it was. But I went in and I actually said to myself, if I come out of this film and she's not a Jedi, I'm going to be disappointed. And they absolutely gave me what I wanted, and it was fantastic. And I thought that was the best thing they could have done for the good side of the Force, without any shadow of a doubt. A lot of people have moaned about the guy playing Kylo Ren. I thought he was fine. It was like, he doesn't look like anything like them, or it doesn't look like, well, I could count a number of my friends' children that look nothing like them. But no, I think he was great. I think he was dark, he was broody. He was almost like a broody teenager, dark side guy, wasn't he? He's obviously not anywhere near the finished product yet, nor was she. The fact that she twigged onto her powers so quickly, we'll see why. But I think there'll be reasons for that. My gut feeling is that she's already trained as a Jedi at some point when she was really small. And when he tried to get into her mind, a lot of it started coming back to her. I don't think it's just been that she's learning it like that. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they've just made it so that you can learn the Jedi shit quicker. But I've got a feeling that they start training Jedis when they're like really tiny children. So I think that she may have already trained as one, and for however reasons have happened, she's just forgotten when she was left on that planet. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, and who her parentage, who her parents are, how the whole Han. Well, okay. The big moment with Han, obviously, with Kylo Ren. I knew that was going to happen. I knew Han was going to die. I knew he was going to be. Because he'd always said that he didn't want to do Han Solo again, and he wanted Han to be killed off in the Jedi. He wanted Han to have a bigger impact on the greater good. He did great stuff, Han, but he wanted Han to have a more sort of universal impact, rather than just being the guy with the gun and the love interest and the for Leia and all that sort of stuff. I think part of the reason that he came back to play Han was because he said, right, you are going to be, there is going to be a significant reason that you die, and what that means to Kylo Ren and all that sort of stuff. So it did give his character. I wasn't surprised that happened at all. It was like, it was obvious to me. If it wasn't obvious to me before I went to see the film, it was obvious to me when he walked onto that. The minute he started walking onto that bridge, I thought he was going to die. So that was. I think it was necessary. I think it was a good idea. I hope though that they don't kill off any more of those characters, because I don't think bringing characters back just to kill them is a good idea. I think it was good for him. I think that was fine, but I don't see any reason to be killing off Luke in the way that they killed off Ben Kenobi. I don't think it holds any power now, because I think people will be expecting it. And I hope that Luke is actually in the next two films. I hope he is not in just this one, just to get us through, because I think we need an old Jedi character that will almost I don't think you need to be a spirit in order to be helpful to people that are trying to be Jedis. I think it would be nice to have him more as a Yoda character, where he's actually physically there with Rey to guide her, rather than just kill him off so we can have another ghost. I mean, it's been done. Why do we need it again? It doesn't need to be there, does it? But I have a feeling that Kylo Ren's going to kill him, because that's just how it is. Like Darth Vader killed Ben Kenobi, Kylo Ren will kill Luke because Luke lets him, rather than actually beating Luke. I hope they don't do that, but I have a feeling that's what they might do. And obviously there's the Leia interest as well. I'd be interested to see what they do with Leia, because I don't know how much they can do with her. You know, she's General Leia. I think she will always have a smaller role. I think she'll be in the command center, and there might be some more dialogue for her between her and Rey and her and Luke, obviously. But I don't think she'll ever be in the guts of it. I think she'll just be in the trims. I don't see any great purpose for her to be. Having said that, obviously she's Kylo Ren's mom, so she might have a bigger part to play than I'm making out. But so far as we could tell, she had a very small part to play. But I think out of all of them, the one person that I think should have a slightly strong role in the next two films is Luke. Not overly. I think it should still be focused on the Finn and Rey and Poe and BB-8. And whoever else they decide to bring in, I think, you know, they should be the people to carry it forward. I don't think we want to rely on the old guard, but it was so. I was surprised. I thought I would be happier to see Han Solo than I was to see Luke, but that scene at the end was so powerful. I love Mark Hamill. I think he's fantastic. So I cannot wait to see him with some dialogue and actually see what that story's all about. Absolutely fantastic. So there you are. I think that's probably about all I can ramble on about. There was a few bits with Han and Finn that I just thought were hilarious. The bit where Finn is face to face with his commander again. He's like, I'm in charge. So Han Solo was like, oh, take it down, tone it down, kid, tone it down. There was little bits like that I just thought were absolutely hilarious, absolutely brilliant. So there was little bits that he just, like, the whole cinema, when I went to see it at the pictures, like, there was bits of it where the whole place was just erupted in laughter. It was fantastic. So I really hope, I think the reason, before I go, the only reason I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 is because I left. Well, it wasn't an overly original story. We've seen that core of a story before. And B, there was just something. It was like I don't know what it was. I still to this moment don't know what it was. And I'm convinced it was the music. But I'm not sure. It was just something not quite on the money in certain places. And I still can't quite figure out what it was. But I said to my son when we walked out, I just felt like it was almost like I expected certain music at some points and it didn't come. I had a similar experience with, I know the Terminator films didn't do particularly well after 2. But when I went to see Terminator 3, if I remember rightly, the actual Terminator music doesn't appear anywhere in the actual film. You only hear it when the credits come up at the end. And it really disappointed me. It took away from the whole effect of the Terminator film. And I know we heard all the Star Wars music in that film, but I just felt like there was moments like they almost were making a point of not using the music we expected to use. We wanted new music. And I just felt like I could have done with just the same music, because it's really like when we saw the clip for the first time, the big clip, and they were using the softer music clip from the original Star Wars movies. It was beautiful and it was spine tingling and it was amazing. And to this moment, I don't think that music was in the film. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think that music was in the film. So it could be little things like that have just kind of taken the edge off for me in certain places. But it was absolutely brilliant. Fantastic film. And I think an 8 out of 10 for the first outing is absolutely fantastic. And I'm really hopeful that these other directors are going to get it on the money. So there you are. My opinions of Star Wars The Force Awakens. We have to wait until, 2017? May 2017 before we see the next of the series. They're making in-between films. Han Solo was cast today for the young Han Solo films. His name's too ridiculous to be able to say. I have no idea. So there's someone we cast for Han Solo. There was the Rogue One trailer that came out. That looks absolutely great as well. But I will be interested to see if I like these films as much as I think I will from the trailers, because Star Wars has always been about the core story. So it'll be interesting to see if I'm as interested in non-core story movies just in the universe. Be interesting. But we shall see. It has been, as always, an honour and a privilege talking to you about Star Wars today. I might do some more of these movie ones if you guys like them, and I'll save it for the more geeky type films, of course. And I will see you guys soon. Take it easy. Bye.